Tracy Impoli, Franco Macchiadi, my man. Yep, that's how we open this show today. Hopefully you had, I got your attention with that one. And my friend, welcome again to Athletics Without Boundaries. Another show, another episode. It's warm today, isn't it? It's warm indeed. It's warm indeed, but it's just warm enough for me to engage you, huh? How you feeling, my friend? Huh? How goes it? How goes it, you and I? We having a relationship here, don't we? As my subscriber, you are seated, you are listening, you are engaged, you like it, you comment. I say thumbs up. Appreciate you, appreciate your company, appreciate your intelligence, your beauty, your humanity, your greatness. Because your greatness is under siege every time. You know, humanity is under siege in some areas. And these areas have to do with freedom. You know, a country like America claims that freedom is a bedrock of this nation. So it says. So the Constitution kind of is inscribed in that Constitution. We see that, we read about it. Then you hear about MAGA, making America great again. Then you wonder, what does that mean? Because for me, I translate MAGA as massa, making America small again. Because when you constrict people, when you start to take away their rights, when you start to melt, or even idea of constricting and strangling humanity, that's not how you make yourself great. You make yourself great by allowing freedom to flow. The fluidity of freedom can be intimidating to some people, and some people want to have a say in freedom. I say this because I'm speaking from a point of view of, let's just talk about this for a second. Okay? Janet Jackson, let's talk about sex, baby. No, let's talk about freedom. What is freedom anyway? Huh? Have you ever wondered what freedom is? You talk of freedom of the animal kingdom, the roaming lion, the elephant trekking 70 miles, getting comfortable in their environment, the fly flying through your eye. Today, by the way, I went for a run and I was having that expression of freedom, which is in running. Trust me, I'm really invested in running. You can tell, right? I don't have to emphasize that. And I think today I was in the trails right here by Nature Park, and I had a moment of understanding what freedom is all about. I was in the trails, and right on my right side of my eye was an owl being ambushed and chased, flying literally on this side of my face, almost taking my eye out. And I was reminded of what that freedom looks like for the owl. Was he under? Was he being raided by the other birds that were feeling he was or she was in the territory that belonged? It was scary for me, but I think I was more calm. I think because I know it's their freedom, is their space, is their ecosystem, and I've encountered these owls. This is my third episode in an owl. It was a close range. I didn't have a photo to prove that to you, but I'm telling you, I felt like it was coming torpedoing towards my eye. Freedom. That's an owl expressing his freedom. Let me tell you where I'll take this. Okay? So you've read of a story about King David. At one point, he had a victory over the battles around the kingdom that King David ruled. He came home excited with his soldiers, and he expressed himself by dancing and celebrating the victory. And he was doing this with the eye of his wife, looking disgustingly and saying, "Oh my gosh." Later asking him, "Why are you dancing?" She was reprimanding him and telling him that was a disgraceful thing for you to do, King David. You cannot be dancing like that. The rest of the story is very sad. She never had children. I don't know how that works. The reprimanding of David for his expression and his freedom to rejoice and celebrate the victory they've had affected the woman in a negative way. That's in the Bible. Okay? I'm just giving you a background of where I'm going with this. At one point, Jesus was just walking down Jerusalem, He was his last days, maybe, according to the Christian writings in the Bible. And some children were lining the road, celebrating his presence and saying, "Here comes the king." And the people are rebuking Jesus and says, "Hey, tell them to shut up. Why are these people dancing and these children having all this good time and expressing themselves, freeing themselves and just dancing to your presence?" And Jesus pretty much told the crowd, if these children or these people don't do it, some rocks are going to do it. That's freedom, my friend. People are expressing their emotional freedom. It gets worse for me in certain ways when you come to America. And let me tell you why. So Jimmy Kimmel is a host of a late night show, and he's a comedian. So he tends to take a jab at the leadership of this country. The leadership of this country says, "No, you can't make fun of me. We want to take your license away." Freedom of speech. Freedom of speech. You go to Kenya, where I came from, it's going on and on and on. It gets to a point whereby you're like, what is this government thinking? People are protesting the high cost of living, the high cost of fuel. What do? You arrest them, lock them up, and then you say, well, this democracy. What democracy? When people are expressing themselves. Freedom. Okay, I'm just giving you a background. Let me tell you why. Because in sports, I'm having a problem. And this problem I'm going to share with you. There was an athlete from Botswana a few months ago. Indoor season. This guy wins against Azedine, the French guy in the 1500 meters. He celebrates by making that gun gesture. What was his name? Masalela? Whatever his name is. I'll find out. It's not in my head right now. He got disqualified. He was just feeling good about the victory, expressing himself, saying, well, I won. I beat you this time. Good time. He got disqualified, lost some monetary stuff, incentives that was coming to the race. That's a story. And who are these police people? Who are these people doing this? Who are the custodians? Who are the righteous people who feel that emotions have to be policed? That when you win, you can't even make a gesture with your body. You cannot not allow. I remember Maurice Green back in the days used to win and stick his tongue out. You have Usain Bolt doing his thing. Expression. Feeling good about that you've won. And just letting it be. And then you have this, let me say this, there are many of these white officials. They are old. They are straight jacket officials. They are just tight. They are old. They are archaic. They don't have emotions. If they do, it's angry. So you have these athletes winning and celebrating in certain ways. Okay? I'm just giving these ways from the Bible, down the channels, down the annals, and here we are. And I tell you, to get sad for me, because when you have a sporting event like a track and field, which struggles to get an audience, and then you have a young man by NYAN Brown, high schooler, okay? They have a relay team. The relay team is destroying the competition. He's coming in the home straight. This is Mallard Creek High School. Let me be specific. North Carolina, I think. I'm looking at my notes here. Is it North Carolina? Some school in the maybe South, okay? It's in the news. The guy is feeling good. They are winning. His emotions get ahead of him. He's celebrating. He's having a good time. He's part of sports. It's entertainment, okay? People having to express themselves. The guy makes a gesture of, look, he puts 5 fingers up in the air. He crossed the finish line. Guess who's at the finish line? Because he did that celebration. Some old white man puts a flag up and says, no, you can't do that here. That's taunting. That's against the rules of high school. You are disqualified. It reminds me of something. Shut up and dribble. LeBron James was once told. You cannot express yourself. Shut up and dribble. You cannot show any emotions. Emotions are dangerous. Emotion is not part of sports. It is you are crossing the line if you show your emotions. You're supposed just to have a stone face. Just finish the race and be constipated on your looks. Just add that meal. I want. You are constipated. You can't express yourself. Let me tell you something why I'm wrestling with this. And you know the side I stand on. Freedom. Freedom, my friend. King David could not even dance because his wife was not happy about it. Even Jesus was not supposed to be celebrated in Jerusalem. Okay? I'm just giving you all these things to understand how small some people are, how sensitive some people are, how just naive and stupid and damn some people are. Okay? They feel threatened because their personality is, I am the last word. Are you? Are you the last word? Huh? A young man winning, a young man, it could be a senior, it could be the biggest time of his life. This NYAN Brown guy, barely 20, an old freaking animal in an air conditioning office says, no, we got rules. We got to impose these rules on you. You are sanctioned. You are disqualified. Go home. Go home and cry because you can't do that here. You can't do that here. So where are these young people going to enjoy themselves, people? Huh? If they cannot enjoy just winning and celebrating the win and dancing to the win, they won, my friend. That's all they did. They want to have a moment of just, let me express myself for once. It was a few seconds of his life. And these freaking old people who are just stuck up, they got some ups their asses. They cannot allow young people to be. I'm a referee, okay? I'm a soccer referee. I do high schools. And these things are getting so pity for me that sometimes you wonder. And most of the time, if you look at the administrators of these rules, these are guys who are just about to die. And so they've been miserable most of their lives. So they come up with these rules all the time. They come up with these rules. It's written there in black and white, you cannot celebrate. It's taunting. This young man put his fingers up and he's running toward finish line. He's not looking at anybody. He's just overtaken by joy. He's celebrating a moment of victory. And you take that away from him because you got some grenades stuck up your backside and you cannot let go. Because what do you think? If he celebrates like that, by the way, I'm looking at the picture here of why I think it is. Behind him are some struggling white boys who cannot keep up. I hate to be racist here, but sometimes I wonder, what is it? What is it that we have to police and put a lead on African Americans' expressions? Shut up and dribble. Don't celebrate. Don't show this to a French runner. You are disqualified. Huh? What is this all about? What is this? Why can't people be allowed? Why can't you just give them space? You claim to be America. You claim to have freedom of speech. You claim to be the greatest country in this world. But now you are getting small and petty. Small and petty. Massa, making America small again. That's what sports is doing to these young people. Even the gender issue. Transgender is a threat to track and field. When did that happen? That's pity. You are picking on the low-lying fruits. You got Epstein files. Nobody cares because the leadership of this country is in the files. You're going to go pick on transgender. People celebrating because they won. You're going for the low-lying fruits, the small ones. What about the big ones? Huh? Why don't you take time to interrogate the big ones? Maybe put the lead on them. Maybe arrest them. Huh? Kenya, why can young people protest? The burdens on fuel, the cost of living. Why do you have to arrest them? Why do you have to even show guns in the streets shooting at these people? What do? They're expressing themselves. In sports, my friend, it's getting a little bit too cheapy for me. Too petty. You had Vinicius Jr. getting a yellow card for celebrating a goal. You remember that? By a French referee? Or was he German? I don't care. But look at this. What's going on here? Huh? The smallness. I call this, people talk of, oh man, we got to clean up the sport. It's getting too whatever. It's too, why are these people dancing? Why is this young man celebrating for winning? Huh? We are zooming on that. Huh? We want to make it a pure sports, the proper sports. The bow tie sports, the tie sports, straight jacket, walking stiff, like you up a grenade up your ass. You can't even dance. I hate to say this, man. I hate to say this. Most African Americans I've known, they express themselves and you can't stop it. You go to a church that is African American, they are in there to worship. They're not just sitting on their asses. They are expressing their joy because they know they've been liberated. Okay? And then you go to some of these churches that are just stiff. I grew up in a stiff church. They couldn't even allow drums. You could not sway your body when you're dancing. It's an abomination according to the Adventists. Back in the days, I remember a principal in my school one Sunday have an announcement to make. We were like, oh shit, what is he gonna say? No more competitive sports in an Adventist institution. I remember my soul collapsing because it is against God. God doesn't like competition or expression in sports. I remember this dude. I remember him. In fact, he went as far as saying, now from henceforth, no volleyball games. If they are going to be there, just recreation. No, we can invite competition from other schools. To me, I think that's where I pick up from my rebelliousness. I was like, you know what? You don't like it? I'm still loving this game. Because even Apostle Paul at one point says that our lives as Christians, we are training like Olympians. So shut the hell up. I'm tired of people. This righteous, the tyranny of righteous is just getting me every time. Why don't you allow people just to have life in the fullness of it all in sports? Because for me, I've come to believe sports is as religious, is as spiritual as you can get. I even have moments of spiritual awakening when I'm running. So when you are sitting there in an air conditioning environment and office with a grenade stuck up your backside and you are getting old and cranky and you cannot allow a young man in high school to have a good time in a relay and disqualify this young man is an abomination. It's disgrace after disgrace. They should reinstate that trophy, that young man. This guy is a winner, and you cannot take that away from him. Winners will win, including King James and King David and King Jesus. People could not shut down these people, okay? And you are not going to start now. Even if you tell them to shut up and dribble, we're going to take this away from you. No, it ain't happening. It ain't happening, my friend. Your small God is going to be crushed by the big God of expression, of joy, of celebration. Go ahead, my man. His name is NYAN Brown, a young high schooler. People trying to take away the joy of sports from him. What a shame. Shame, shame, shame. Hey, my friend, Athletic Without Boundaries, questioning the MAGA narrative and the madness of it all. It's me, the voice of expression and freedom. Talk to you later, my friend. Bye-bye.